Welcome to the Upper Limit Breakthrough session with the Heroic Man team. I'm honestly really excited to do this workshop because there's I've even made an error on the breakthrough. Break thou. I will break thou. Full of errors today. And that could be an upper limit issue. And that's exactly what I've been talking about. My life has been full of these. And you're speaking to an absolute expert in upper limit and in experience in upper limits and breaking through them as well. And I really just want to do two things today. I want to walk you through just an experience of just part of the model that I've created whilst helping myself and B, men just like me break through their upper limits in their lives. And I'm really, really grateful that you've given me your most valuable assets today, which are your time and your attention. So please, with those two things that you've given me, give yourself the same thing. Give yourself the attention that you need. Turn off any distractions, be in the room, and you're going to get so much value from this workshop. I really do believe that because I've put a lot of effort into it. It's not just about the experience of this hour. It's about understanding something that will help you shift your life enormously. You'll either be new to this kind of thinking. It might be new and, oh yeah, I've never really thought of it like this. Or it could be that you are very aware of an upper limit. Like I've been aware of an upper limit for quite some time, but it's been like, how have I broke through my upper limits in the various aspects of my life? And it's a one-way workshop with invited conversation. So if you know me, I do like to have collective wisdom in most of the sessions I deliver. However, this is a training. And if you've got any burning questions, save them for the end or save them for any messages you want to give me afterwards. Obviously, we want to keep it nice and dynamic. So if you do have a question, I'd encourage you to write it down in your notebook and then either ask it in a Heroic Man School if you're a member of our community, or feel free to just ping me at the end. Honestly, I really just love conversations with guys about this stuff as well. So let's dive straight in. So in the next 60 minutes, you're going to learn about why it's your duty to break through your glass ceiling. Like, why is it your duty to break through your glass ceiling? You really need to be thinking about this. And I've been working with Yassine Didabi for probably about 2.5 years now. And he is very, very good at making me see how it's my duty to my family, the people around me, the people that I lead every single day to break through my own glass ceilings. If you're a coach, you're a consultant, if you're a family man, if you're a man looking to find his way in the world, it is absolutely your duty to break through your glass ceilings, because not only just for your own mental well-being, Maslow said that years ago, what one can be, one must be. And this is why you're here. You're here to actualize your potential. You're here to actualize your potential. You're here to bring your greatest gifts in service to the world. And so it's your duty to break through the glass ceilings that you have in your life, your work, your relationships. And so you're here to find out what you might be missing. And then this is where this was like a puzzle for me. I was like, when I was writing the workshop, I was like, why is it that I've stagnated at various parts of my life? Like, why is that? Why is it that I've come up against stumbling blocks and I've been pushing up against this glass ceiling for such a long time, not able to be able to break through? Is it my thinking, my actions, my behavior? Is it my energy? And it's all of it. To be really honest, it's all of it. And we're going to work out that together. And hopefully there should be some light bulb moments as well. And then finally, how to create an inflection point in your work. I fucking love that. I love that more than anything. When a guy comes into my world and then there's magic that happens in the space of a couple of minutes, an hour, or a program. That is really what I've been put on this earth to do. I really like seeing people's success path just deviate from their, what I would call default future. So default future is I'm earning, 30, 40 grand this year. Next year, I might earn 42. Year after that, 45. Default future. Yeah, I can extrapolate my current success path over time, and I can kind of guess where I'll be in 5-10 years. I like the other type of success, which is where you get these big inflection points and you start to see people really, really shifting who they're being as a person, where they actually turn around in a couple of years' time. They go, I don't recognize the guy who's looking me in the mirror today. So my question to you is, why do you want to have a breakthrough? Why do you want to have a breakthrough? Like you saw the marketing for this workshop and you're like, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to invest an hour of my time listening to Ben. But what is it that really, in your life right now that is calling you to have a breakthrough? And just to note down, there's the chat and there's also a workshop companion document, which I will just repost as well. Just repost that so you've got it. So you've got two things. You've not just got a workshop that you've been on and you've got some chat messages you've written and you've got a workshop companion. I've just popped it in the document in the chat again, guys. So feel free to have that open by the side of this workshop as you're walking through it. I will provide the recording and the document at the end as well. Why do you want to have a breakthrough? Head on over into the chat and just share. Why do you want to have a breakthrough? Come on. Financial freedom, to have more autonomy. Nice, guys. This is great. Keep them coming. Asking, you really get to the grips of this, like what's so important for you about making a change in your life? Financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. Thank you, Luke. Oh, Kim. Yeah, legendary future. I love that, Luke. More freedom. Nice. Thank you, Ryan. Feel it in my gut after good work. Yeah. Fulfill self and be free. A lot of freedom coming up, team. This is good to hear. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. And how would you describe where you are right now in your life, in your work? So there's 4 stages where, in my opinion, we're either in one of 4 stages. We're going backwards. We feel like we're actually going backwards relative to, could be previous success. We feel like we're going backwards. Like, that's a feeling we have. Like, oh, I feel like I'm, I was up here, I was making this much money, and then I feel like I'm actually going the opposite direction. I'm making less and less every consecutive calendar year, month, whatever like that. We feel blocked. Yeah, so we feel blocked. We feel stationary. We don't feel like we're going backwards, but we don't feel like we're moving forwards. We're very stationary. It's a feeling you'll know. Yes, you might feel blocked right now. There's things that are in my way for me moving forwards. You could be in a building phase. So a building phase is where you are building towards success, but you just feel like you're not breaking through. You're not getting past that see that dotted line up there, that upper limit. That's the limit. That's every time you build, you hit this kind of glass ceiling, this financial thermostat. It's maybe a feeling thermostat where you don't feel that you're good enough to experience life this good. And then you take the foot off the gas. You stop doing the stuff that made you got you success in the first place. All this kind of thing. And so you're stuck in this building phase. You're constantly building, but you're really not poking through. I love the idea of potency. Potency is the word I would use to describe breaking through that glass ceiling. And then the final phase, you might feel that you are having a breakthrough. You're starting to see, or as Dusan Dukic in Straight Line Leadership would say, you're starting to experience new problems. You've left the circle world where you're experiencing the same problems again and again and again, and you're starting to break through into this new realm where you are experiencing new problems and new challenges. So where would you say you are right now? Go on into the chat and say where you are. So Matt Cox is in breakthrough. Malek feels blocked and building. So yeah, oscillating between those two. So also known as the zigzag. Malek, yeah. Blocked. So Kim feels blocked. Building. Nice, Jonathan. Nice, guys. Get on over into the chat and just, yeah, building, just come out of blocked. It's quite a good way to look at it, isn't it? It's like nice and simple. Is it alliteration or is it onomatopoeia? Is it alliteration, all the V's? Breakthrough. On some levels, blocked, mainly building. Some great progress this week, last 2 months. Great, Luke. Yeah, great. Great to see so many people in our Heroic Man program seemingly, moving through building into breakthrough stages. Good. Okay. This is really good. Good to hear. And this is why I want you to have that breakthrough. I've got a picture up on the screen. If you listen to it, this is a recording as an audio of my family. I actually never believed I could get to this point at one point in my life. I felt so blocked. I felt so stationary. So what would happen in my life is I would have an inflection of success. So I would do something really, really good, and then I would sabotage myself and I would do something dumb, and I would go like almost back down to how I felt I was going backwards. And I was just kind of, I really identify with that zigzag we talked about in previous workshops, where it's like success, boom and bust, boom and bust. And at various points in my life, I was like, I got to 30 and I was like, oh my God, I've spent all this money on a marriage and my business has gone kind of kaput and not on the inflection point I wanted to. And I just kept on hitting this income ceiling. It was a good income. It's a really good income. But every time I hit this really good income, I think it was just about just past 6 figures, I would do something that would just like terminate my success. It would be, I'd be starting back, at my parents' house, back on my mum's sofa, crying in the shower. But I really experienced this. It was like massive success followed by crashing lows. And I actually plotted it out on a retreat once, and I was like, oh my God, there's this magic number. There's this real glass ceiling. I was talking about this with Yassine. And when we started talking about this, I realized that glass ceilings are probably the biggest thing that men face. Your upper limit issues. And Michael Dell, who wrote the book, The Big Leap, was not Michael Dell, sorry. It was, what's his name? Gay Hendricks, who wrote the book, The Big Leap. Talks about this with regards to Michael Dell, his most famous coaching client, the Dell Computers guy. And it's like, hang on a second, if these business moguls, these famous guys, these movers and shakers also have an upper limit issue, I can guarantee it probably exists in my world as well. And when I started getting into it, I realized like it wasn't just me. Like when you have that feeling sometimes, it's like, is it just me that experiences this? Having conversations with the likes of, some of the guys on this call, I experienced this like, oh my God, it's not just me. Like we get to these points where we have this big amount of success, then we do something that sabotages that. Or we just, as we've been talking about on a heroic man recently, we just become almost nihilistic. It's like, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to be stuck at this income for the rest of my life. I'll just coast. Can anyone recognize anything I'm talking about here? Maybe to make sure we're really on the right conversation here. Yeah, I think that's a really important thing for guys is we get to these points and then we almost feel like, I'm doing everything I can here. I'm hustling, I'm grinding, I'm putting the time in, I'm putting the effort in. And I was like, anyway, I saw so many things going on in my relationship. And I realized that I actually had an upper limit issue in my relationship. I had one in my fitness. I was ex-pro athlete. So I ran for my university, ran collegiate level athletics, ran national level, international level. And I had glass ceilings there. Exited the career from doing something dumb on a dance floor, did the splits and my right hamstring tore in two. And so that was an upper limit. And I just started to see these things that happened in my life. And I was like, okay, well, what happens if I could take all the wisdom from the last 15 years and help guys with the same problem that I've had? And I really want you to walk away from today's workshop with the same level of success I've had from really fronting up to my upper limits, really getting present with them. And guys, honestly, saying it from a position of being in the fucking trenches with you. My style, if you've seen what I do before, I'm not an ivory tower kind of guy. I say things how they are. I'm very open and honest about what I'm working on at any given point. And that's the way that I lead. And honestly, just seeing the amazing success and the amazing feelings I've had from building a family, moving to Dubai, really earning really, really great money and building a very purpose-driven business with Pete and Yassine. I know this is capable, what everyone's capable of, because I'm not special. I'm really not special. And what we started to develop, and this is what started to sort of come through as we would did the last 2 years of Awaken Man, I was like, well, first of all, we started with backbone. We started looking at guys really just developing this strong spine. As Brene Brown says, soft front and strong spine. When guys started to soften and really become really integrated men, where they had dealt with their struggles, traumas, and challenges and been open about them in front of a group of men, they started to break through their upper limit. Like, we had guys who, you know, came on our retreats and cried for the first time, and then they went away and had great months in business. We had guys open up on a Friday conversation and tell us that they were sharing things that they'd never shared with their partners, their families, and all sorts. We had guys really just opening up. And what I saw there was they were working on their backbone, their spine. Because they had such a strong spine from being in a group of men, what started to happen is their integrity changed, their courage changed. And that really did lead to some breakthroughs. But that one alone wasn't enough. What we also were doing, we were working with Yassine, myself, and Pete, and we were working on our brain. We're working on the things like on our thinking as well. My level of thinking. And I came from a working class family. I've not had a single entrepreneur in the whole family. I had to work a lot on my thinking in order to become more successful. But just having backbone and brain meant that, yeah, cool, I've got a strong spine. I can think really well. But then sometimes my actual vessel for doing the work gets tired and lethargic. Does that make sense, guys? It's like, I think sharp. I think I do. I've got courage and I'm bold, but fuck, I get to Friday and I'm zonked, or like I get to these points where I'm ill constantly. And I was like, funnily enough, my background was training, but when I got into men's work and I started doing lots of men's work, because we had so many trainers in the group, I was just a bit like, oh, do you know what? We'll park body. We don't really need to focus on it as much because guys have got this. Whereas actually, there was a lot to be said about really just developing and improving the body as well. So what I've seen happen over the last couple of years is this kind of like really, really important trifecta of having a great level of energy, really good mental fortitude, and a strong spine so you can take big, big shots. And what I've developed over the last couple of weeks, literally the last couple of weeks, like honestly, is this kind of overarching format for guys to help them move forward and break through their upper limit. Now, think about this, okay? If I've like, say I want to work on my body, but I haven't got discipline, I'm not going to be able to do the eating, moving, and sleeping routines very well. So I have to work on my mind in order to get to work on my body. So, for example, if I want to become fitter, if I want to become stronger, if my personal breakthrough, my upper limit is I get to a certain level on the scales and I can't push past that, there's only a certain amount of pushing myself to do the eating, moving, and sleeping stuff I can do without the 3 types of discipline. If you've been with us for a while, you'll know that there's like that, there's structural, there's expansive, and there's reactive. So what I started doing is putting together the pieces of what I've seen over the last couple of years. And what I noticed was breaking through an upper limit takes a shit ton of energy. So I can have a great level of thinking and I can be taking, courageous actions, but ultimately nobody's got a motivation issue. There's no such thing as a motivation issue. And I learned this from Yassine, actually. I was like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Because if you think about this, change takes a shit ton of energy. It really does. It takes a real shit ton of energy. Who would agree that sometimes you're like, there's so many things that I'm trying to change, or there's so much energy involved in what I'm doing differently, is that is something I really struggle with. And that's why so many people fail when it comes to long-term change. They run out of energy. So if I'm to optimize my energy, all these things I'm able to do with the other virtues I have in my life, like courage, integrity, I can sustain that. And that's what's helped me break through my upper limits. Like, I've always maintained phenomenal levels of eating, moving, and sleeping. It's just bred into me. That's from my childhood, is phenomenal. Where I've lacked is the backbone and the brain side. That's where my work's been. So where would you say that your work is, guys? Like for me, just talking about this, where would you say your work is in the trifecta of those three? It might be all three. You know, we're not here to hold back. We're here to go all in. Backbone. Yeah, Ryan said backbone. Then brain. All three, Malik. Yeah, nice, brother. All the B's today. We're having a field day with alliteration. Please tell me that's the right term. Actually, I've got basic skills level 3 in English. Brain discipline. Yeah, good. Okay, brilliant. Brain and body, boosting backbone too. Great. Okay, so when we have these combinations, but look at this, right, guys, is that when we combine these two, when I've got good mental fortitude, I've worked on my psychology, I've got my body in check, what I've got is harmony between brain and body. And what this means is, like, if you think about this, like, have you ever had a diet plan or a program that you've been on to transform your body, and you've been frustrated, like, why can't I stick to the goddamn program? And you're frustrated at yourself, your psychological self. There's disharmony. When you've worked on your brain and when you've worked on your body, there's harmony in those two working together. Equally, when your body is in check and optimized, and you've got strong integrity, courage, and anti-fragility, you've got grit. Yeah, you've got real grit. And that's where grit comes from, where a strong body meets a strong backbone. So not only are you able to push forwards because you've got that courage, integrity, anti-fragility, you've got the vessel to do it as well. And then the final one is, like, good brain and backbone gives you wisdom. Yeah, it's like that ability to just keep moving forwards and learn from the experiences as you're pushing into those challenges. And I think those three come together really nicely. Does that make a lot of sense? This is the first time I presented this. Does this make a lot of sense to you guys? Because in the context of pushing through the upper limits, yes. Oh, Jonathan McGinnis said yes. So I will take that. I'll take that one. I'll take that one. Yeah. Thank you, Frank. Yep, super solid. Good, guys. Okay, nice one. And so thank you, Ali. Yeah, I'll take all this praise. Thank you, guys. It's taken a long time, a lot of thinking to get this done here. Okay, let's move into you guys. We got the butt cracks. Yeah, the butt cracks. So in a Venn diagram, you have the butt crack. See there? That is a butt crack. Okay, so you need to work on, like, for example, if you don't work on your body and your backbone, the opposite of grit is like just giving up easily. Yeah, it's like you'll be faced with a challenge and you'll just give up. Your body will just give in. You'll have lack of energy. You'll get ill. You'll break down, which is an upper limit issue. So, like, it is, like, if you read Gay Hendricks' book, that's one of the reasons. You are faced with success and you get ill. Tell you a quick story. When I was about to run the trial to run 152 in the 800 meters. I was like, well, I ran 153 in training on the track. I was flying, and then I was like, if I got 152, I'd got a full scholarship to America. What happened? Got ill. I got mumps, and what had happened there is my body had let me down. I had the integrity, I had the courage, I had the anti-fragility to train every single day, but it was my body that let me down. Yeah. So what happens if we don't work on our brain and our body is that we have either a strong mind, we're disciplined, but we're running out of energy, or the opposite. We've got a great body, but we're not able to push ourselves to our upper limits. So what I'm asking you to answer, guys, is, like, I need to work on what so you don't get what. So I need to work on my backbone and my sleeping so I don't get burnt out, tired, have a breakdown. And what we're looking for here, guys, is what is stopping you from breaking through your upper limit. It's going to be in these butt cracks. It's going to be in these combinations of these three. Yeah. I've got great thinking power. I'm great with my psychology. I'm very driven and my direction's good, but I'm terrible at hard conversations. So I need to work on my courage so I don't get so far with a big plan and then have to have a hard conversation and I don't get anywhere. Yeah. So I want to work on my sleep. So my time is optimized. So he has more time. Great. Nice one, Luke. Take some time, guys. I've seen so many guys that they've got the direction. I know where I need to go. I know what I want. Got this big vision, but they are shit scared of challenge. They're shit scared of hard conversations. They want to be the nice guy. So the opposite of the have a guy with backbone is the nice guy. He'll please versus serve. Yeah. So feel my productivity drops when my night of sleep is disrupted. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Body, so I feel better. Brain can perform better throughout my life. Great. Yeah. Work on my courage and anti-fragility. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, guys. This is great. Backbones, yeah, backbones I can build my business. And I really want to get this across, guys, is that the backbone is the combination in my world of having courage, having integrity, doing what you said you'll do, and having anti-fragility. So seeing challenges, the way to explain anti-fragility, I love this, is a wind extinguishes a candle, yet fuels a fire. So if you want to write that down, that's a really, really great way to look at anti-fragility. A wind extinguishes a candle, yet fuels a fire. And when you can get a guy who sees his challenges as like will build him up instead of break him down, amazing things happen. Okay. Question I asked at Men's Business a year ago now, nearly. And this is like being honest, guys, like being really honest. When have you failed when you've truly committed to something, when you've had a vision and you've gone all in? Like, it's a question I keep asking because I'm still trying to answer that myself. And if we just slow down to this question, when have you failed? Like, whenever you mean by failure is like not achieved. When have you not achieved something you've really, truly committed to? Like, really committed to it. You see what I mean? Is that if we can create a mechanism where we work on those three areas, your body, your brain, and your business, your body, brain, and your backbone, is that when you've got all those things checked off, it's almost an insurance policy that you are going to be successful. Yeah, it's going to make you far more like, if you think about it, sometimes like, why haven't I achieved in the past? Well, I haven't had the backbone. I haven't been able to share my struggles. I haven't been able to be open about my challenges. So when I've had to deal with stress, I've not been able to push through my hardest challenges as I'm trying to get that breakthrough. Oh, I've had a really long slog of work for 90 days and I've burnt out. I haven't thought differently. I haven't had expansive different discipline. I haven't thought about the bigger problem or trying to do the bigger thing. So here's just a moment to take a beat and say, actually, hang a second, I can back myself when I truly commit to something. And that's part of an upper limit issue, is that failure to commit. Like failure, what's the saying? Is it failure to commit is the high price for low living? I might have to get that quote and send it to you after the team. And this is what happened with Matt Roberts. Okay. So Mark Roberts joined us in, I think it's after men's business in the summer. So it was like maybe like April, May time this year. And Matt joined us and he joined the team, joined AMP, making my project. And he, successful guy, like really doing well. He's got a great offer, Primal Fitness. If you're thinking of doing like obstacle course racing, he's your guy. He's amazing. Great trainer, great offer. And I remember Kim coming on the call and I was like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, and he was like, I've got to achieve this impossible goal. And I was like, well, what's going on? And he told me what was going on. And his impossible goal, he had to make 6 figures in 90 days. And I was like, have you ever done that before? He's like, no, I haven't. And I've made that money and I've made more than that money, but not in that short space of time. And his huge drive was to do with his kids and seeing his kids. It was massive drive, like massive. And what happened for Matt in that moment is that was his upper limit. Like he said, he'd never even done half of that in that amount of time. And he was shooting for this impossible goal. And so what we did on his induction call, we just spent the time thinking like what's got to change in order for him to push through this upper limit. He'd multiple times hit a certain amount and he said, I just got to, this amount and I just can't push through. I just can't push past this like part of the business. And what happened over the next 90 days, there was a couple of things, and I want to share this with you and take time because, first of all, he was very, very open about the goal. He shared it. Everyone in the group knew what his goal was. Everyone knew what his goal was. Guys, write that down. Everyone knew what his goals are. Like, we have guys on Heroic Man, Awaken Man. And sometimes I'm like, well, what are they shooting for right now? One of the insurance policies for your impossible goal is to tell everyone, you speak it into existence. Someone the other day said that they want accountability. That is accountability. That's being accountable. That's saying it every single day. This is where I'm at in terms of my goal. Second thing, the huge drive. He knew his why. He was very, very, very clear on why he wanted what he wanted. It wasn't an option for him. I wish he was on the call, probably in future one when I run this webinar, I'll get him to come and share his story. He literally could not fail. There was a huge pain if he failed. And then the final thing is that he was a structured guy, but he created better structures. So he had discipline. So he broke down old structures that weren't serving him in order to make it easier for him to hit his goal. And that's how he broke through his upper limit. What can you see in that for you guys? Like, is there anything that really hit home for you in that? Because I think even just sharing that, I was like, yeah, actually, yeah, I can take some inspiration for that myself. What was particularly, Ben, like really like, oh yeah, that hit? Yeah, reassessing the current structure. Goals on annual, get short, get big. Yeah, absolutely, Frank. Yeah. Absolute clarity. Yes. Self-belief. Yeah, he backed himself. He said he was very, very open about that. I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. Even the weeks where things felt like they were going backwards, he got back on and he, him and his team did some amazing things. Brilliant. Okay, let's keep it going. So this is the first thing that you need for a breaking through your upper limit. It goes without saying, we actually had a program for 12 weeks for a number of, I think about a year, called the Impossible Goal Program. And the Impossible Goal Program was set an impossible goal over 90 days and achieve it. And we had guys that would come in and they would achieve it. We also got guys that didn't, we had guys that would fall short, and we'd also had guys that would give up. But that is where that informed the model. Like, why did they give up? Well, they didn't have the backbone. They wouldn't fire that staff member. They wouldn't hire that, take that risk and hire. They'd run out of energy. They wouldn't have the discipline. They wouldn't do what they said they were going to do. All those things. So on your way to your impossible goal, the first thing you need to do is freaking write it. It's just like, write it down, as Bob Proctor says. You go around to, 99% of people on the street, ask them if they got a goal, and they'll say yes or no. They'll probably say no. That 1%, will say yes. And then of those 1%, how many people have it written down? And then how many of those people write it down every day? And that was something that changed my life. I was like, oh yeah, I don't do any of that. I don't do any of that. I don't write down my goals. I just kind of point myself in a direction, and there was an integrity gap there. And I started doing that. I used Donald Miller's method. I'm going to be doing a workshop on that in January in Dubai. But I used Donald Miller's method, just getting really, really clear what I wanted. 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, and started taking traction, taking action. So in any given moment, we're choosing one of two decisions, moving forwards into growth or back into psychopathology, to comfort. So we need that goal to keep pulling us to make the growth decision. If we don't have the goal, we won't be choosing the growth decision. And growth is beyond our current capabilities. Growth is beyond our current capabilities. What forces growth? So what I want you to do is I'm going to give you 3 minutes, because we're going to keep it short and punchy. If you want to head on over to the workshop companion I'll pop it in again for the guys who've joined a little bit later, is go on over to create your vision. Maybe it might be the first time you've done it. You might be just doing it because you've done it already today. And I want you to write down your vision. What is the vision for even a year from now? And if you want to change it, you can put 10 years. What's the vision? To just be open, like what needs to happen in the next year? Like talk about, and honestly, guys, you can write extensively in that document. It'll just open up and keep going. And then you want to ask that question: what needs to happen in the next 365 days in order for that vision to happen? And then we're going to break it down into 90. And then you're going to break it down into the next 45 days. And then you're going to break it down into the today. What needs to happen today? What needs to happen daily? What's the drumbeat? Got another 90 seconds, team. Feel free to unmute and ask if you've got any questions about what you're doing right now. There should be a part of the document I've given you where it's got a breakdown for this. So if you're watching this as a recording, feel free to just get in touch and ask for the document to accompany it. Makes it a lot easier. Okay. Who wants to share just any insights and just doing that quick exercise? We'll go one share, like put your hand up and just quick ask, and we'll get some comments as well. You bold the guys. Raise your hand, and then yeah, who wins when I win? Everyone wins when you win. Yeah. About 3 pages in, there is a create your vision diagram as well. Okay. So if you look at this, guys, there's part of this is about direction. Yeah, so this is just one part of a bigger picture. So direction, for those of you guys who've been on our discipline week as well. We've done stuff on discipline, and I'm starting to piece this together. This is just one part of the bigger picture of helping you break through your upper limit. But getting direction, getting this clear really before you're on any program, like getting that, what I would call king energy. This is what I want. This is how I'm gonna build my kingdom. Yeah. Jonathan McGinnis had the vision but hadn't broken it down. I got enough clients. So generating leads for solar companies, great, super. We want to get down to that. Really, guys, we really want to get down to that daily action. We want to get down to what's the daily. What do you do on the daily? 7 out of 7 days. Or if you're a 3 out of the 7, imagine you were training 3 out of 7 days a week and you went to 4 or 5, you're going to see an inflection point. If you're selling 2 days out of 7, if you doubled the dose 4, you'd see a massive change. What's your daily task to make that vision almost so certain that you'd achieve it? Yeah, find and refine my uniqueness. You'll find that in action map as well. And this is kind of like what happened with Don Demetrius, right? So it says it's not. It says Mark Roberts on it. It's that guy called Don Demetrius. Didn't change the bottom bit. And Don joined us as a CF. He was technology manager, chief of technology. He wasn't a CTO, and that was the role that he was going for when he joined AMP. And when someone joins the Wake Man project, we do 90 minutes with them on a call, and we go real deep. We find out what the big goal is, what's in the way, and quite quickly you can see energy, his body great. He's really, he's got his body in check, got a great mind, thinking really, really well. And it was just the backbone part. It was a hard conversation. High stakes, mixed opinions, emotions potentially running high, hard conversation that Don had to have in order to get a massive change in his employment, in his career. It was just that one thing. And, to be fair, it was literally that one conversation that we had, and the invitation was to go and take action straight away. Within 2 days, he'd already had a salary increase and he'd been given a CTO role in his company. And that big shift is enormous. And this is what's so important about recognizing what could be holding you back from your upper limit. It could be that courage piece where I really know what I want. I've got the direction. I'm fit and healthy, but I'm shit scared of having hard conversations. And that does come down to the strength of your spine, gents. And he would agree. And hands up, I did this work. I would avoid hard conversations. I would do anything to not make someone feel a certain way or end up feeling a certain way myself. Did that for years. And someone said to me, well, it was actually one of my coaches said, Ben, you need to go and learn how to have a hard conversation because you suck at them. And I did it. I was 25 at the time. And transformed my life. It transformed my life. And it's a big part of really just getting a strong backbone. And when I did that, I went from selling low-end, price point fitness packages to, in the excess of 3 to 12 grand packages for 12 weeks worth of fitness. And because I was willing to have the courage to create that inflection in the way that I sold. Is this making sense, guys? How this fits into the puzzle of the upper limit is that I was so scared of those conversations where I would potentially have to, someone would be really struggling to either afford what I was selling, or they'd have to make a real commitment, or they'd be taking a risk. I would blunt my activities and actions and my pitches. And when I did that, I overnight went from around about, I think it was 100 grand. I did my first ever £250,000 like 250,000 in that year. Bought a house, got married, bought a car, went on lots of nights out. I've got nothing to show for it now. Lost the house in the divorce, sold the car, and all that stuff. So self-sabotage comes into that a little bit. But that was in my 20s. But it was ultimately, the shift was created through developing a strong spine. And it was exactly the same for Luke Bicknell. You know, Luke came on our program, and he came because he said, like, he just didn't know what he wanted. He was like, I'm here to find my purpose. I'm here to find out what I really, really want from my life and my business. I'm essentially just a gym manager. And what Luke has been very, very good at doing is being very creative, where he's thought differently. He's thought outside his current paradigm. And he's very courageous. He just takes really ballsy action. So what he did, very, what's the word for it? Ballsy action. Yeah, he's like really just strong spine, getting there, courageous. And he'd go into companies and he'd ask some of the biggest companies in the UK to go and coach in their staff. And he asked a number of companies, and he ended up working with a entertainment provider. I think it's called Merlin, and he's coaching. He's been a coach. He's been a coach for pretty much his whole life. He's been a teacher and a coach, and wildly successful pitch. Now, do you see how overnight that would have helped him smash through his upper limit? It didn't just smash, it doubled his income. It doubled his income. And that came from discipline, expansive discipline. And, you know, really, really proud to say that Luke has just bought his dream house with his family, which was one of the, Luke is that first person to invest in Awaken Man, and a real success story of ours. And he invested in a house the other day, which is his dream house for his kids. And I remember on his first call saying how he wanted a really big garden for his son. Now he's got a couple of acres. It's just like, I'm just like, really, wow, wow. And that is from getting very present with his upper limit, taking courageous action, and again, having that drive. Can you see the commonalities here, guys, as well? Yeah. Totally relate, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Good, guys. Share it in the everyone chat, what you're seeing for yourself here. I love using I can give you loads of information, but I think what I went with in the workshop is just like, what one man can do, another man can do. It's just like, I think we learn far more from the men in the program than we do the information. Yeah, they are. And honestly, this is what's happening in our world. It really does. It happens every day. Every Friday we see these wins coming out, and sometimes we've become a little bit desensitized to them because they're just so big. So let's just kind of walk through just a small snippet of how to break through your upper limit before we kind of bring this to a close. I'm going to go through what we're going to be doing on upper limit as well. Is you need to have an impossible goal. It needs to be some sort of stretch goal. That it's not a stretch goal. It's actually an impossible goal. It needs to be outside of your current capability, something you haven't done before. Because a stretch goal is doing something that you've already done and adding a 10%. That's what I would say a default feature is created through. An impossible goal, to double my salary. Yeah, to double my salary. That's a great goal. And then what that does is you will make that goal, you'll create that goal, and then your subconscious will get to work. Your subconscious will do most of the work itself. And since I did that, I've got a couple of things I want to achieve by the end of the year. Since I set the goal and the intention and been really intentional about it, things have started happening. It's weird. It's a weird, really weird situation. And sales started coming in and people started getting in touch with me. One person finally replied to a reel on my Instagram. So like things started happening for me. you need to have the brain power and the bandwidth. So what I mean by that is like the discipline to remove the things that are not serving you. Yeah, the brain power, you need to nurture that every single day. Those of you guys on Heroic Man will know that just nurturing your brain every day is just so powerful. And then finally, you need to have the backbone to keep pushing. And what that means is it's that you're gonna come up against challenges and resistance, and it's getting very present with that. And the final one is like learning to think and act from the goal, but you can't do that unless it's been set. So, if you think about this, you have to set the goal in order to reverse engineer it and act from the goal. And you'll hear this across all sorts of self-development books. It's like act from the goal. Well, how can you do that if you haven't set it? So hopefully you've done that today. If you want some more support with that, always there to help you in any way, shape, or form. What are your insights from today's workshop? What are your insights? Hold the space for a little bit for you guys to write down, because I think it's important. Because what we want to do is get an insight and then take it and take action on it, because we want to turn insights, because insights aren't that's not the goal of the workshop. Is that you see something differently, then you go and act differently because of what you've seen. So read my vision, write my goal, take action every day. Yeah, the holistic way we need to break through our barriers, backbone, brain, and body. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, great. Jeff, do you like my structure? Work on my courage. Yeah, I love that, Matt. I need to have my impossible goal. Okay, cool. Great. Well, there was one case study that we didn't talk about. And that case study is potentially you guys. Yeah. And that's what we want to do and this is something that we really want to work on Awaken Man and Heroic Man as we're going through the changes in the company, is getting more case studies. We have got like 15, 20 case studies from guys who have done the impossible and stuff like that. But we want to really see these breakthroughs in body, brain, and backbone. And just think what a short inflection in your business would do, or your body, or the courage that you've got, and like the relationship you have, where you started doing what you said you were going to do. What would that do for you? What would just 45 days of momentum do for you? And that's where we got thinking, because traditionally in Awaken Man, we'd only ever worked with someone for a year. So we said, hang on a second, well, why don't we just try, I love the idea of a test, is try and do this over 45 days. Because most of the guys who got breakthroughs did it quickly, because it wasn't easy, but it was quick. Okay. There's a massive distinction there. It wasn't easy, but it was quick. Don walked in, asked for a pay rise. Yeah. Matt took action straight away, started something new, got results. Luke went and started coaching people straight off the bat. All these people got results quickly. Was it easy? No. Was it quick? Yes. And so we thought, well, actually, hang on a second. Why don't we just shorten the time frame which we're helping people? And we wanted to create a program around it. We're launching it. You've probably heard about what we've been talking about on the Facebook group, and Pete put some posts up about it. So have I. We're launching an upper limit breakthrough case study group. So we're going to create just a small incubator of guys before we launch it officially. We've got an app built at the moment, but we're looking for 10 men who want to do this as be one of our case studies and create the results we've mentioned in today's workshop. Like if you've written down results that you want, we're going to help you create that in 6 weeks' time. And this is how it's going to, this is how it's going to work. So you've got all the information. We'll cover all 9 parts of the brain, body, and backbone structure. So I'll teach you each part of those 3. So like there'll be obviously brain, 3 parts, body, 3 parts, and backbone, 3 parts. We'll go like a mile deep on each of those, and just enough so you've got stuff to move forward every single week. It'll be a live online training once a week, short recorded trainings on a daily basis. You'll be able to consume them in 10 minutes, and a group hot seat every week. That's the group hot seat on Awaken Man. It's really powerful. you'll be invited to come in on there. It's really, really powerful. Even if you don't get to have your hot seat, you'll learn that, Frank can attest to that, and so could Jonathan. It's being in that group is just phenomenal. It's really, really powerful. So there's lots of frequency if you need it. And here's how it works. We'll focus on one area, then I'll give you the next piece of the process. So it's like slow and steady, so you won't get overwhelmed, and it'll fit into your life. And twice a week, you'll have access to live coaching with me. So one where I'm delivering the training for an hour, and then the one on the hot seat as well, if you want to come on the hot seat, where you can get live coaching, where you can brainstorm actions, and we can challenge you, and we can get you into action. But also what you'll find is that being around other action takers does this, because part of an upper limit issue is you haven't got other guys pushing through the same limits as you. And that's what you'll have in that group. The guys are doing big deals. They are taking big steps. They're changing their relationships. They're doing big things. And then finally, there's a community, which is the Awaken to the Heroic community. Is a private platform in there, so we can see you taking action through the program as well. And just for the money, the brass tacks guys, well, not to do sort of value stacking. It's like straight up, really easy, one payment of £1,500. We've done it way cheaper than what we want to sell it for long term, because we want the case studies. We're attached to the case studies, but we want you to have enough skin in the game to get you taking action, and it's got to be enough pain. But at the same time, we want it to be a quick ROI as well. Because if you get one of those things right, body, brain, backbone, you'll see the value for that very, very quickly. The incubator lasts for 6 weeks. And there's 2 bonuses if you start before, okay? So the first one is you can start on the hot seat straight away. So if you're, heroic man, if you're not a part of our world, you get to come on the hot seat until the program starts as well. It starts in about 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. The second thing is you get an upgrade to Heroic Plus, which is our body transformation system. I'm going to give you our 6-week program. Okay, that'll help you kind of turn the screw a little bit in your fitness, and you'll see some massive shifts there. So if you want to do this, okay, just message me with the word case study. I'll send you a link. You'll be in, and they'll enroll you. That's really how simple I'm going to make it, guys. It's not a hard sell. Equally, I think it'll be really valuable for you. If you've got any questions, feel free to I'm going to stop the recording, and then you can ask about them as soon as the session's finished. I'm just really proud of myself. I finished dead on 4:30 as well. So I said it was going to be an hour. I thought it was going to be 90 minutes. So thank you very much for being here. That's how you can come and break through your upper limit with us in the next couple of weeks, guys. It's going to be an amazing program. I can feel it in my bones. At the same time, if you need to ask any questions, or you need to just have a talk with me personally, just write the word case study to me personally, and we'll throw and catch to help you with whatever you need. Thank you so much for being here, guys. And I will pop the recording up in the Facebook group, and I'll give you you've got the document as well. Thank you so much, guys.